Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I would do something that's probably going to be a little bit controversial, and that is my lip filler experience. So if you guys are following me on things like Snapchat and Twitter and Instagram and all that jazz, which is all at Cocochic blog, you will know that I did get lip fillers around the start of the year, and I also went back about 10 days ago to get more, and then I ended up getting chin fillers as well. Yeah, chin fillers. So I guess the best place to start is why I got them done. Now obviously no one needs lip fillers or chin fillers for that matter, but it was something that I just fancied getting done. I've been overlining my lips for a long time and I don't always like wearing lipstick, so when I wasn't overlining my lips I felt like my lips, or at least my top lip, was quite a lot smaller than the bottom one. So originally I thought that the only way you could get bigger lips was to get like a plate put in, or like silicone or collagen or whatever the hell it is put in there, and that stuff is usually pretty permanent, so I wasn't really wanting to do that because I have obviously seen a lot of like side effects and really sort of bad horror stories where you've seen people and their lips have come out like this and they've had to have all these things done. Basically, I didn't want to end up like Pete Burns. So I got them done because, to be honest, it was actually a really easy procedure, and I thought it was like my 23rd birthday or like around about then, and I thought, you know what, I am sick of not liking my lips. I'm just going to take the plunge, give it a go and just see what I think. So let's start with the procedure itself. I'm probably going to insert videos and pictures and all that jazz like while I'm talking, but basically I booked my appointment a few months earlier. I went to this place called Aqua, which is in my hometown in Cornwall, and they have a doctor come in, I think it's once a month, called Dr. Martin Kinsella. I think he's like the youngest person who does what he does. He's qualified in loads of different things. I'll leave a link down below or something. But yeah, so I went with them because I'd done some research, and he has his own clinic up in Cheshire called Re-Enhance, and I think he works at the Harley Medical Group as well. So I knew that he was kind of with a lot of prestigious kind of places, and I knew that he wasn't just some random guy that was going to stick needles in my face. So basically I said to him that obviously I would like fuller lips, that was why I was kind of there in the first place, but it was mostly my top lip that I wanted stuff done to. So he had a good old look at my lips, and it was a bit awkward because I had this random guy who I'd never met before like fiddling around with my mouth, but he said that my lips were actually quite uneven and they were kind of shaped, I don't really know how to explain it, but they were thin here on the outside, and then they went bigger, and then they went thinner again. He said to me that, to be honest, I didn't really need much doing because I'm guessing he sees loads of people that come in and just want to get like the Kylie Jenner look. And he said that, to be honest, massive lips probably wouldn't suit my face because I do have quite small features and I generally have quite a small face. So he said to me to kind of start with like a corrective sort of lip job basically, which meant that he was going to put a lot of the product in my top lip in that thinner part and then just kind of shape them so they looked a little bit better and a little bit more even. So I got in the chair, and the first thing I asked was, you know, is this going to be the numbing part? So is he going to put like numbing cream, or is he going to inject like a numbing agent into my lips? And he said that he doesn't use numbing cream, which instantly made me think, shit, my mouth is going to hurt, because I'd seen so many videos and everyone had had like lip injections with numbing cream, and they still obviously said that it wasn't the most comfortable thing in the world, but I was thinking, I'm gonna have numbing cream, I'm not really gonna feel much because I've got quite a high pain threshold. But yeah, he said there's no numbing cream and that the injection itself actually contains like a numbing agent. So the more he does, the less I'll feel it, if that makes sense. So I was sitting there thinking it's gonna really hurt for the first few minutes, and he put the needle in. He kind of just did it like along my lip line, and I really could barely feel anything. It kind of just felt like the sort of scratch you get when you get like an injection at the doctor's. It felt like that, but in my lips, and then from then on I barely felt a thing. I can't remember the exact brand name of the product he used, but I will try and like put it here or leave a link down below or something. But it's a form of hyaluronic acid, and it was like a semi-short needle, so it was maybe like an inch long, the needle itself, and it would go in and he would basically inject it into my face, as you can probably see in the video, and he would kind of like wiggle it around a little bit and wiggle it in and out so it would kind of disperse throughout my lips, and then he would massage it in to make sure it was where it needed to be. He said to me that the most painful part was going to be when he put it actually in the body of my lip as opposed to my lip line, but to be honest, by the time he got round to it, which was one of the last things that he did, I'd already had stuff put in my lips, so my lips were feeling quite numb and I literally couldn't feel anything. There was a little bit of bleeding, not so much though, and by the time I'd left all the bleeding had stopped, and he obviously said to me that because it was my first time and because it was quite corrective and he had to do it a lot in the body of the lip, there was probably going to be a lot more bruising as opposed to someone that just got them plumped. But to be honest, as you can see again from the pictures, there wasn't really that much bruising. There was a bit of bruising on one of the sides of my bottom lip, and that sort of stuck around for about 7 to 10 days, but it obviously diminished over time. And yeah, there wasn't really much of like an after effect or anything like that. My lips were swollen for about a week to 2 weeks. They were kind of obviously swollen for about a week or so, and then I could kind of see that they were a bit swollen, but you probably wouldn't have been able to tell, if that makes sense. When I left, obviously my lips were quite swollen and they did kind of stick out a bit duck facey, but he said that that would kind of diminish over a few days, and it did. My lips still felt quite hard and the body of them did feel a little bit swollen for about 10 days or so, because obviously I did have quite a bit of extensive work done like in the centre of my lips, but that wasn't noticeable to anyone apart from me and Ollie, who was kissing me. Ollie did say that when he kissed me and when he felt my lips, he could tell that they didn't really feel like my lips, but again, like 10 days after or so, it just felt completely normal, and you wouldn't have really even be able to tell that I had anything done because it all just kind of sunk into my lips and they just started to feel a lot more like mine. So in terms of how long it lasts, mine would last around 6 to 12 months just because it was my first time. And obviously it depends on the person, but he said that it should never really last more than around 12 months. So let's fast forward to about a week ago when I had a checkup so he could look over my lips again, and I knew I was going to ask for a little bit more, and he actually said to me that I didn't really need anything else. I said that I did want them to be ever so slightly more full because last time we corrected them, and this time I just wanted them to be a little bit more full, so I was kind of expecting to have a pretty drastic change in my lips. And it got quite deep and not emotional as such, but we started having like a fairly in-depth chat, and he said to me, you know, why do you want it done? There's nothing sort of wrong with your lips as such. He said that the correction had been done, and he said that he would put more in me, but he didn't want me to go overboard because he said that, you know, I didn't need it, and he wanted to kind of basically counsel me in the fact that there was nothing actually wrong with my lips. So if we have like a little bit of backstory or something, I've always had a bit of like a complex, I guess, kind of about this part of my face. When I was younger, I was bullied a little bit like everyone is, and it always linked back to like my mouth and just that area in general. At the time, I had really, really wonky gappy teeth. I do have quite big teeth generally, but obviously they are straight and like semi-white now. So I got my teeth sorted because I didn't like my teeth, and then I thought it was my lips that were the problem, so I got my lips sorted, and I was still looking at myself and thinking, you know, my lips are a lot better, but I still don't like something here. I'm in the chair right now, and we were just talking about what I'm going to be doing to my lips, and Dr. Kinsella said that I don't really need that much done, which I didn't really think. I'm just probably being overly pernickety. But we were talking about my lack of jaw pretty much, which I've always sort of thought I had. And turns out today we're going to be putting a little bit of filler just in here, which will hopefully, what will it do? It'll hopefully kind of pull my lips forward a bit, and you do the explaining.
So what we'll do is we'll try to reduce this angle here that you've got between your chin and your lip, yeah?
Yeah, because it's quite angular.
Yeah, and when you close your mouth a little bit, by doing that, it will just try to do that and keep your lips close together. It'll just, do you see how it improves your lips slightly already?
Yeah.
When we do that. And then also we'll build up your chin here a little bit more, and then in time fill it in here, so it just gives you a stronger profile.
Okay.
The dimension, the sort of vertical aspects of your chin from the bottom of your lower lip to the bottom of your chin is quite small, so we want to make that look stronger.
Okay, lovely. So that's what we're going to do today, which is something that I wasn't expecting to get done, but we do what the man says, so let's go and get that done. So obviously I didn't plan to have my chin done. If I did, then I would have taken like before and after pictures, so I will insert like a picture before of what my chin looked like on the side. I'll probably just have to find like a crappy phone picture or something, but you can probably see the fact that I've got like, if I look to the side now, you can't really see because obviously I've had it done, but my chin went in quite a lot and then it came out, so it would kind of have this big indentation in this part of my face, and that made my lips look like they were kind of sticking out a bit like a Simpson. And I've always been like okay with my face straight on, but on the side I've got like a slight bump on my nose, and I never liked my chin. That was something that I'd obviously grown up with for years, and it's not something you ever really think of people getting done. But it made complete sense when he said to me that actually it wasn't my lips that was the problem. And to be honest, my chin wasn't a problem. He made sure that I didn't sort of think I had to get it done. But he said that the reason I don't like this part of my face was because my chin was a lot weaker than the rest of my face, if that makes sense. So everything else was kind of okay from here up, but then my chin kind of was like nothing. So this process is a little bit more gross. It's exactly the same sort of process, only he uses a cannula needle, which is basically a needle about this long. And by the way, I absolutely hate needles, so don't go thinking I'm some sort of like needle champion. I absolutely hate them. Like if I go and get a blood test, I freak out. So for me, needles are a pretty big deal. He explained the process to me, and I said to him, is it gonna hurt a lot more than my lips? And to be honest, he said probably not. Like it might hurt a little bit more, but not that much at all. And I also asked him if I was going to have bruising, because I was expecting to come out with maybe like slight bruising on my lips again. I didn't want to come out with an entirely black chin, but he said that it shouldn't really bruise at all, maybe like ever so slightly, but nothing major. And then he sort of talked me through what was going to happen. So as you can see again in the video, what he did was he put this needle thing, I cannot use medical terminology because I have no idea what it's called, but it was basically this needle that went in my face, and I think it essentially like made an opening for the other needle to go in, if that makes sense. Again, it pretty much just felt like a standard injection, only a bit weirder because it was in like the side of my face. But he put that in, left it in for like 20 seconds, probably not even that, and then he was going to go in with the injection. So he took the other needle out and then he put in the longer one, and to be honest, it didn't really hurt that much at all. Obviously it didn't feel great the first time, but like I said, it was exactly the same stuff as the stuff that went into my lips, just a bit more heavy duty. So it had the same numbing agent in it, which meant that within about 10 seconds, I couldn't really feel anything at all. So the needle was kind of going in and out of my chin like this, just to kind of, I guess, get to all the places it needs to be. And the one thing that was just, I didn't even think about it at the time, but afterwards thinking about it when I was explaining it to people, it made me feel sick. And that was the fact that I could kind of feel it popping through the tissue, which was the weirdest sensation. But I think at the time I was there and it was just happening, and I was just, you know, it was like in the moment sort of thing, and I probably had some sort of adrenaline. But yeah, thinking about it afterwards, I could literally feel this needle like popping through the tissue, and I'm sorry because that's just really, really gross, but that was the worst bit, but I didn't even really realise it until afterwards. Then he did exactly the same thing on the other side, needle in, take out, other needle in, fish it around, pop, pop, pop. So at one point he kind of just stopped and looked at my face, and I knew what he was going to say. Are you thinking about getting rid of the dimple?
A little bit. Go like this. See, what I've done now is by putting filler around here, I've stopped that muscle wrinkling as much.
Yeah.
Like this. So it should be. Relax for me. Yeah, I am a little bit. But it is up to you, I don't want to.
I'm not overly attached to my chin dimple. And so I said goodbye to my chin dimple. The entire process took about 10 minutes, just like my lips, so it is really, really quick. In terms of the price, I don't think I mentioned the price in the first one, but to get my lips done the first time, for 1 ml of product, it was £300. And then for the second time, obviously I was getting my lips done and my chin done. He used 2 injections, or 2 like mils worth of product, I think. And I think because obviously he's seen me a few times and he knew I was probably going to come back at some point, he charged me 550, I think. No, it wasn't, it was 500 in the end, so he took another 50 off, but I think it was originally meant to be 600, so like 300 per mil. But yeah, he charged me 500 for like my lips and my chin, and obviously that hurt a lot. When I went to pay, I just thought, like, don't even tell me how much it's going to be, just take my card, I'll put in my PIN, and I'll pretend that it never happened. So obviously it's expensive, but one thing I guess is important to mention, that with my chin, I guess because it's not something that you overly like press together like you would with your lips, your chin will stay that way for a lot longer, and actually it will build up more collagen naturally over time, so my chin will stay more full than my lips will, if that makes sense. So it is a bit more permanent than getting other things filled, because I guess it's quite solid. So yeah, even though it's expensive, it just feels like an investment in my chin. I still can't believe that I got it done, and I came out and I told my mum, I said, "Mum, I got something done again." And she said, "Oh, you haven't got your lips done again." And I said, "Well, I have, but don't worry, it was only the tiniest amount." And I basically played this little game with her. I'm really horrible to my mum in that sense. I said, like, what have I never liked about my face? And she was going through all these things. She was like, your nose. And I said, well, I'd love to get my nose done in 10 minutes, but I don't think that's ever gonna happen. And she was going through all these different things, and she was like, Botox, no. You haven't had your teeth done, no. Like, all these different things. And then she said your chin. I was like, bingo. So I went in not even knowing that you could get your chin done. And then I was on the phone to my mum, and she was probably sat there thinking, what has my daughter done now? Because she is against the whole injection side of things, but I think she hopefully knows by this point that I'm not going to go and do something really stupid to my face. But saying to someone that you've had your chin done, it's like, what? So I sent her a picture of what my chin was like then, and I also found a picture of what my chin was like before, and you could see the difference. And she just told me that I was mad, but, you know, said, whatever you want to do, I support it, basically. So yeah, my dad still doesn't know though. I'm kind of waiting to see if my dad will notice something different, and if he does, I'll tell him. If not, then ignorance is bliss. As for like the after effects and things like that, it still hurts a little bit now, but only in like random places. Obviously I did have a lot more in my chin than I did with my lips, and like last night Ollie and I were play fighting and he accidentally knocked my chin, and I was there like, oh my god, my chin hurts. So it only really hurts if like I actually press really hard on it. But generally, like talking and things like that, it doesn't hurt at all. As for bruising, I don't remember if I got a picture, so I will try and insert something if I did, but I had a slight little tiny bruise here. I think it's still there ever so slightly, but it kind of just looks like a spot scar or something, you know, when your skin kind of looks a little bit more pink than the rest of it. And it went quite dark at one point, but it was only about this big, and I could cover it up really, really easy with makeup. But hopefully, judging by the before and after pictures, you will be able to see that there is quite a big difference in like the space between my mouth and my chin. It's something that obviously no one else probably would have cared about and no one else would have ever noticed, but for me it was something that I would have liked to have had fixed. It was just something that I didn't really know could have been fixed. So yeah, that's my general experience, and I guess my kind of review about lip fillers, and also a very random impromptu chin filler as well. So if you guys do have any questions, then do leave them in the comments section down below. Please try and be nice. Obviously I know that not everyone agrees with this sort of thing, but I am really, really happy with the results. I don't think my face looks like it's been done as such. Obviously I know it would be a perfect world if we could all just love the skin that we're in, and I know some people obviously can learn to love it and all that jazz, and maybe in a few years time I'll think to myself what a waste of money that was, and I'll feel completely fine how I look without lip fillers and without chin fillers. But to be honest, I'm 23 years old and I have felt pretty crap about this part of my face, which sounds kind of crazy, but I have felt pretty crap about it, and I thought to myself, you know what, if you can afford to do it, and it was something that obviously I didn't take lightly. I didn't have like £800 in total just to randomly splurge on my face, but it was something that I thought I really wanted to do, and I do think it was worth every penny, to be honest, because it's the first time pretty much ever in my life that I've looked at myself even without makeup and looked at myself on the side and thought, you know what, I don't look that bad. So it has given me a massive confidence boost. Like I said, it's not the ideal way to go about it. It would be great if I didn't feel like I had to get all this stuff done just to feel good about myself, but the end result is still very much the same. I do feel good about my lips and my chin. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and hopefully it did help you a little bit. I am going to hopefully be doing like a Q&A video if I do get enough questions, so do leave the questions in the comments below and I'll do that next time. Ask me pretty much anything you want. I'm pretty open with telling you guys like how much it costs, and open to even like talking to you guys over email or direct message or things like that if you have any more personal questions, because obviously I know that it is a pretty big deal and it's not something you should take lightly, especially if you're quite young. Like, leave it for a while, because you know your mind changes like crazy every few years. But if you are adamant with getting it done, or even if you just want to be nosy, then shoot me some questions and I will answer them in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next one, and I hope you have a really good day. Bye.